Holy smokes. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the SATS Show, your beginner-friendly guide to saving in Bitcoin. That was cool. That intro gets me so hype. I'm just going to play that on Fridays going forward. If you don't know who created that it's a fellow named Richard Real, or Real Richard. I think it's on Instagram. Sorry, on X. And we've linked his profile on YouTube here in the description to this video. Very cool stuff. A lot of Bitcoin mashups like that with music and awesome videos. So it's always cool to get the show started with that. It's not a video he made for us, but it does fit pretty well in the show. So I decided to use that as a little bit of an opener. I got his permission, so everything is cool. Let's rock the show today, guys. Shout out, round of applause to everybody in the chat. What up, Johnny Midas in the house? Welcome, tuning in from the desert. Let's go. Having dessert in the desert. Shout out, round of applause from the live studio audience for McLovin, Leonard, and J-Dub in the house. What up, everybody? Welcome. Guys, I'm having a good day. It's Friday. Feeling super stoked. Ready for the weekend. Hope you guys had a great week. I feel my week was pretty good. You know, everybody's safe. I'm healthy. I'm feeling good. And you know what, you sometimes it's just good enough, you know? So let's be grateful for what we have, and get ready to go into the weekend and have a good weekend. Even if you are working, you know, it's good. It's good to be alive. It's good to be around, right? Especially in this time when sats are so cheap, and we look back and we're gonna say, wow, people could actually buy sats at $43,000 per Bitcoin. Anyway, all right, so let's get started with the first segment of the show that we like to call SAT Strength. What is SAT Strength stand for? Okay, a Satoshi is a fraction of a Bitcoin. People that know about Bitcoin call it a SAT for short. So a Bitcoin is composed of 100 million Satoshis. Just like if you have 100 pennies, you have $1. Okay? So it's still Bitcoin, just like a penny, a nickel, a dime, a quarter is still US dollar. A Satoshi is still Bitcoin. It's just the smallest denomination of a Bitcoin. Okay? It's 0.7 zeros and then a 1. Okay? So eight decimal places. All right. That said, it's important to say that and to mention that, because if you're new to the whole Bitcoin thing, you might be looking at the price and saying, whoa, $43,000 for one Bitcoin? I can't afford that. I'm priced out. There's no way I can buy that. Well, I have some good news for you. Okay? You don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin all at once. You can buy fractions of a Bitcoin. You can buy sats. And that's why this show is called the Stack Sats Show, because you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin all at once. You can buy $1 worth of Bitcoin, for example, and $1 worth of Bitcoin right now at the price of Bitcoin can get you 2,324 Satoshis, or 2,324 fractions of a Bitcoin. Okay, and you can start with as little as $5, $10, $20, whatever you feel comfortable with, as you get yourself educated with how the money system works and how Bitcoin works and how inflation works and all that good stuff. You can start slow and work your way up. If you eventually get to one whole Bitcoin, you'll be styling. You'll be doing pretty good. Okay. Anyway, that's why we call it a Stack Stats Show, and that's why it's important to make sure that you guys understand that you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin all at once. Okay. Very good. All right. Let's jump into Bitcoin Beacon in the house. What up? Welcome. Round of applause from the live studio audience for Bitcoin Beacon. Choo! Yeah. So it's super important, guys. Especially if you're new to the scene, maybe and you don't understand how Bitcoin works yet. Don't be intimidated by the price, okay? You can buy fractions of a Bitcoin, and those fractions of a Bitcoin give you the same qualities, the same features as having a whole Bitcoin, okay? You just have, like, for example, the idea of shielding your wealth from inflation. You can shield your wealth from inflation, however much money you put into Bitcoin, however many Satoshis you have in control. That's how much wealth you'll be shielding from inflation. So you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin all at once. Okay. That said, the weekend's coming up. Let's say you're walking down the street, minding your own business. You look down, you see a penny, you pick it up, and all the day you could have 23 Satoshis. Based on the price of Bitcoin today, one penny will buy you 23 Satoshis. If you can find someone that sells 23 Satoshis at a time, let me know. But it's the idea. It's the idea, okay? That counts here. When Bitcoin hits $1 million, 1 Satoshi will be equivalent to 1 cent. Okay, it just goes to show you how fast the dollar and the pennies are losing purchasing power against inflation. Man, we got a nice crowd in the house today. Shout out and round of applause to Matthew J. What up, Matty? And round of applause to Mr. Android. Yo, what up? Good to see you in here. You guys are too fiat rich, stacking every day. Yeah, we're stacking Monday through Friday every day to keep the motivation up, to keep the pump going, to keep the bull-tardedness going, if you will. Yeah, it's crazy. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. But yeah, so for a single penny, you get 23 Satoshis today. And yeah, it's easy. It's doable, right? Y'all can figure out a way to find some pennies, right? Find a few bucks here and there, start investing in Bitcoin. All right. So that said, let's get into the next segment of the show, which we like to call Why We Stack. All right, during today's Why We Stack segment, we're going to focus on this thing I've been seeing. It says the cost of living crisis. And yeah, it's a thing, right? The prices of things, the prices of goods that you need to maintain your lifestyle keep going up, right? And the prices keep going up because it's a reflection of the money supply being increased. And so the prices of things have to go up because it still costs work to make those things like food, shelter, and like food, shelter. I threw myself up because I said shelter, housing, shelter, the same stuff. Food, electricity, the things that take work to make, right? So when that happens, you don't necessarily get a raise at work that matches the real rate of inflation. So you're kind of losing on both ends. Your pay, even though it stays the same in monetary units, is buying you less and less things, because not only are you losing on that side, you're also losing on the pricing side because the prices are actually going up too. So they're charging you more monetary units for things that you're used to buying, and the monetary units that you're getting paid in are able to purchase less and less, right? So you're double losing there, okay? Unless you're getting a 8-9% raise every year. Hey, you might have a really good job, but that's just enough to keep you afloat, right? That's just enough to deal with inflation. You're still not getting wealthier. So, I'm not trying to say that there isn't a cost of living crisis, because there definitely is, but not if you're saving in Bitcoin. Okay, so we've touched on this topic before on the show, and I think today's a good day to kind of touch on it again. And I want to say touch on. I'm gonna punch this issue in the face. I'm gonna beat this horse. Right? Time to beat the horse. Time to beat this horse. Let's go. All right. So I think we start off with this meme that came out, and to lay the foundation, to get the juices flowing, and to get the conversation rolling. Okay. So here we go. This meme is got put out by the Strike. Okay, the Strike app. I don't know if this is their original meme, but anyway, they put it out. So Strike, so at Strike, and let me show it to you. There it is. So most of the people in the chat, I remember watching this movie, Home Alone. I mean, I watch it pretty much every Christmas with my kids. They love it, and they think it's hilarious. Even though they've seen it a bunch of times, they think it's the funniest movie ever. But there's a scene in this movie where Kevin McAllister, the main character in the movie, goes to the grocery store and he buys a bunch of random stuff, like bread and milk and like the basic stuff, basic grocery stuff, right? And in the movie it shows like all the things on the conveyor belt, whatever, and the cashier charges everything, and this total is $19.83 for what we're calling here the Home Alone shopping list. Okay, and when people like me or whatever, they go back and watch this movie because it's a classic, right? You go back and watch this classic movie. Most of the time, like the grown-ups notice that 1983 cost of this whole of all of his groceries, and they're like, "Dang, like that!" It's kind of like a real shocker, right? It kind of does take you back, even though it's been a long time. How long has it been since the movie came out? I can't remember what year it came out. Does it show it doesn't say the year on this post, but anyway, since the movie came out, that groceries list was $19.83. Right, last year the same groceries that he purchased, right? If you took the same shopping list to the grocery store a year ago, it would cost you $44.40 to buy the same stuff, right? To buy the same stuff, okay? And so this year, I think they're talking about 2023 or maybe 2024. I'm not sure when the meme came out, but let's just say it's this year. The same stuff on that Home Alone shopping list, this grocery list, Kevin's grocery list, would cost you $72.28 in today's money, right? That's wild, right? That's wild. So this is the concept that I've been trying to get you guys to understand, and most of you get it, right? But for those of you guys that are new and don't comprehend it yet, being on the Bitcoin standard means this will get us primed for when we go into the next little section of what we're going to do today. Okay, so that is the beginning of it, right? And here on the show, when we track our purchases and stuff, we track our buys and all that good stuff. But I've been kind of keeping a burrito index, which I call it my burrito index, which because it's one of the things I buy most common is just a burrito. I buy milk, I buy tacos, and I buy bread. What up, BTC Moon Guy in the house? Round of applause from the live studio audience for BTC Moon Guy. Welcome. Okay, so this is our burrito index for the show, right? And we look at this, and when people say, yeah, the cost of living is going up, there's a cost of living crisis. There is a cost of living crisis if you look at the world in terms of dollars. But if you're fortunate enough to be able to save in satoshis, to be able to save in Bitcoin, man, what up, Carl? Welcome to the stream. Let's go. Full house today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Happy Friday. If you're saving in dollars, the price of things appear to be going up. But if you're saving in Bitcoin and Satoshis, and you think of the world in terms of Satoshis, how many Satoshis did it cost me to buy my burrito in October? Right, 49,000 Satoshis, right? And how many Satoshis would it cost me to go buy my burrito today? 31,826 Satoshis, right? So the top numbers here are the current prices of these items based on the last fiat dollar amount converted to the current rate of Bitcoin pricing. So today, my burrito is going to cost me 31,000 sats, right? Where in October, my burrito is going to cost me 49,000 sats, which is about a 40% discount in the amount of Satoshis I actually have to pay. Okay, so that little principle, that little example, can be extrapolated into other aspects of your life, right? So that could be a 40% drop in your car payment, right? That could be a 40% drop in your rent if you're renting, right? So a 40% drop in your house payment, right? It doesn't have to be just a burrito, something small as a burrito or a taco, right? But those same savings are available to you when you're saving in Bitcoin, right? So I think that's super powerful. It's a very powerful thing that gets, I think, lost in the sauce a little bit with all the other great things that Bitcoin can do, right? Self-sovereignty and unconfiscatable and all these other great features features of Bitcoin that you have to focus on this. When you think about the the cost of living of things, this is a really good way to orange pill your friends, right? Because it's pretty shocking if somebody says, "Oh," as soon as you hear somebody complain about the cost of living going up, and be like, "Oh, well, actually, in terms of Bitcoin, the cost of living is going down. Like it's cheaper. It gets cheaper every day to live on the Bitcoin standard." And it's pretty mind blowing, right? That'll definitely start some conversations, right? So very cool. So I was thinking I had some other stuff in here. Yeah, I have some other memes I'm gonna share with you guys, but let's keep the show rolling. yeah, yeah. We're gonna do some more memes throughout the show. So, but we'll keep the show rolling. So anyway, that is why we stack. We stack because we want to shield ourselves from inflation. And by shielding ourselves from inflation, we are actually avoiding the cost of living crisis that a lot of people seem to be going through. Okay. So save in Bitcoin and your purchasing power will increase over time instead of getting debased over time when you save in dollars. Even at this point in stocks, real estate, all that stuff, all those things, they might appear to be making you gains. But if you take into consideration the expansion of the money supply, they're just reflecting the growth of the money supply. It looks like they're going up in value, but you're not actually gaining purchasing power. It's just reflecting that the money supply is increasing, so it has to represent that number. It's a percentage of the value of the money supply, right? That's why we have ongoing GDP. It's always expanding. We always have a bigger and bigger GDP. But do we? Is the economy actually growing, or is the money supply expanding so that it appears as if the economy is growing because you're measuring the GDP in dollars, right? So if you print more dollars, obviously it's going to look like the economy is growing. But remember, going back to the pizza example, if you take the pizza and you slice it into more slices, does that mean that your pizza is growing? Right? Anyway, let's keep it rocking. Right? Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real, right? Let's keep it real. All right. So let's get into the next segment of the show, which we like to call the Stack Recap, because we don't only talk about stacking sats. Yes, we still have dry powder because I've been selling things out of my garage. Legal things. Stuff I don't need, stuff that I don't use, just taking up space. And hey, I'm not Bitcoin retired yet, so I still have a full-time job. Okay, believe it or not. So I have a constant stream of dry powder coming in. I'm not saying I'm filthy rich or anything like that, but hey, do what you got to do so you can continue to DCA on your schedule. If it's $10 a day, if it's $50 a week, or $100 a month, whatever your DCA schedule is, do what it takes, right, to get on your schedule and be on time and continue to stack. Okay. All right. So today, let's go back to this browser here. Today, the price of Bitcoin is $42,985. It is still right now below our average buy price. So today we're going to do a double stack. Double stack. Yep. Monthly lump sum DCA gang. Matthew, I know what you're referring to what British Hodl says, but you know what? I don't care what British Hodl says about DCAing or not. As long as you're stacking more sats, call it whatever you want. Okay, I call it Bitcoin cost averaging. Right? Bitcoin cost averaging. We're definitely Bitcoin cost averaging here because we're doing it Monday through Friday, right? So today we like to make our DCAing a little bit interesting by doing a double stack when the price of Bitcoin is below our average buy price, so we can buy more cheaper sats along the way. Okay. All right. And also interesting to note, in 2024, this is the most gains we've seen in 2024 so far. So 0.35 gains. Let's go. We started tracking it just in 2024, but we have our ongoing show stack since the beginning of the show, which was on May 22nd, 2023. And since then, we've accumulated about 13 million Satoshis. Just this year, we've accumulated 2 million satoshis. We're almost at 2.5 million satoshis. And all of this to say that the only numbers that matter on this whole spreadsheet are your SAT count and your Bitcoin count, right? This is the same number. It's just denoted in Bitcoin and denoted in satoshis. This is the only number that counts. This is the only number that counts. It's how many satoshis do you have under your control in your private self-custody wallet. Okay, that's what the most important part is. Okay, everything else here, they're gonna keep manipulating. They're gonna keep printing money, all that stuff, and eventually, over time, you'll be in gains. Anybody that's held Bitcoin for 4 years plus, you're pretty much ahead. You're winning. All right. So, again, we restarted we restarted the account in 2024 to encourage people that are new to not get discouraged by the big numbers over here, possibly, right? Maybe like saying like, oh, I don't have $4,000 to put into Bitcoin. Well, you don't have to have it. You just got to have the conviction to put in 10, $20, whatever you feel comfortable with, and just start stacking, right? There's a whole saying, just get off of zero Bitcoin, right? So this is how you start to get off of zero Bitcoin, and then slow and steady. Just like we're doing here all over again in 2024, starting from scratch on this sheet. We're starting to see the gains. We're starting to see the potential, right? Even though it's just about $3 up, still, it proves the concept, right? And as Bitcoin starts to pump more and more, you'll get more excited, and you'll start to understand that maybe this is something you need to look into. And now you have a vested interest in learning more about Bitcoin and educating yourself, as you should have from the beginning, right? But it's difficult to go all in if you don't see it, if you think it's a scammer off the bat, right? If you think, well, what's this guy on the internet trying to do? Is this guy messing with me? Is he trying to steal my money? Yeah, be skeptical. I appreciate that. Be skeptical and do your own research. You're supposed to do your own research, right? But if you have a little bit of skin in the game, even if it's $10, $20, $100, once you start seeing that go up and you're like, wait a minute, this used to be $10, now I have $12. How did that jump up, right? And imagine if I would put in $100 instead of $10. Oh, okay, I would have had $120. Okay, well, imagine if I would have done $1,000 instead of $100. And then there starts your journey on the Bitcoin path and going down the rabbit hole and learning about everything and how it actually works and how the dollar system is set up. The dollar system and any other government currency is set up to basically steal your wealth from you via inflation, keep you poor, keep you working your whole life, keep you on that 40-hour-a-week train on your first job, keep you on that fighting for that second job, and maybe even doing an Uber on the side, just to continue to live the modest lifestyle that you currently have. You're gonna have to work harder and harder to continue the lifestyle that you already have, not even to better your lifestyle, okay? Just to maintain, and even then you're losing, right? And you're losing because the money printers are printing and the banks are issuing debt, even if they're not issuing debt to you because you don't qualify because you don't want to pay a 7% interest rate, right? They're issuing debt to other institutions and banks and companies, right? And when they do that, they expand the money supply again. And what happens when you expand the money supply? You get more slices of the pizza, right? You slice up the pizza even more, and now your slices of the pizza are worth less and less, and that's how they devalue your savings for you, okay? It doesn't matter if you have your savings saved in under your mattress. It doesn't matter if you have a bunch of cash buried in the backyard like a pirate, old school style. It doesn't matter. The inflation monster is can still steal from you, okay? Because they don't have to touch your money to steal from you, and that's like the biggest scam, the biggest theft that there has ever been in the history of humanity is like inflation, dude. Like bigger than any scandal you can think of. Every single person in the world is getting scammed by inflation, by their governments, right? And it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. Now that I'm thinking about it on that scale, that is the biggest theft that's ever happened in the history of mankind, right? So anyway, I lost my train of thought there. I went down a different path, but hey, we're good. We got we know what we need to do. We're stacking a double stack today. And now there's only one thing left to do. It's time to stack some SATS. Infinite pizza, baby. Let's go. Yes. Matthew, you get it, man. All right. So, where are we? Here we go. As you guys know, I like to stack over on Swan Bitcoin. If you want to stack like I do through the show, we have an affiliate link. I know I'm grifting, right? But you know, I'm doing this show. It's fun, and anything helps. So if you don't have an account yet, go check out Swan Bitcoin through our affiliate link, and you'll get $10 worth of free Bitcoin. Okay, now let's buy this. $40 worth of Bitcoin coming in for episode 153. Dang, it's been a long time. 153 episodes, guys. Oops. Take a note of this buy before I show you guys the screen. Okay. 153 episodes of buying Bitcoin a little bit at a time. $5, $10, and now $20 most of the days. And it slowly adds up. It's proof of concept. All right. Here we go. Cut the music. Drum roll, please. We're buying $40 worth of Bitcoin today on the StackSats show. It's a Friday. It's an awesome day. And yeah, it's good. All right, we'll wait for that process to go through. And meanwhile, we'll put on a little background music because once... Oh, interesting. Because once you buy the Bitcoin and you move it to your self-custody, you can chill for a little bit and repeat the process of just stacking more. Here we go. Where's that chill music? There it is. Yes. We buy. There it is. It just went through. There's a purchase. Done. Now we update our spreadsheet with today's buy. So let's see what we got. Today we purchased at here $43,022 today. It's cheaper than yesterday, actually. All right. We bought $40 worth, and the yield is 0.00092045 Bitcoin. Does that mean that we are at 2.5 million Satoshis for the year? Let's see. Drum roll, please. Yes, we have. We've hit 2.5 million Satoshis for the year. Stacking slow and steady. You know, making it happen. And yeah. We're SAT millionaires again in 2024. Yeah. That's wild. Okay? I know we're messing around and we're talking like it's a funny thing, like we're just kidding around to say like, oh yeah, we're SAT millionaires, ha ha ha, that's funny, right? But and I was commenting about this on Simply Bitcoin today in the chat. Imagine in the year 2136 when the Bitcoin, when the reward for mining the next block in Bitcoin is going to be 1 Satoshi. Are you kidding me? Right? That means that if we just stacked 9,000 sats today by doing a $40 buy, right? 90,000 sats, right? In the year 2134, you'd have to win. If you won every single block for a whole day, you would get 1,404 satoshis. If you had like the most hash power in the whole network and you won all the blocks for a whole day, you would still only get 1,404 satoshis as a Coinbase reward. But then you would also collect the fees of people moving their bitcoins back and forth. You still get fees plus a Coinbase reward. Right now, the Coinbase reward, if you mine the next block, is 6.25 Bitcoin. Right? So just to give you an idea of how valuable each Satoshi is going to be worth in the future, right? We're not going to be dealing in Bitcoin. We're going to be dealing in SATS for sure. So this show, you guys are way ahead of your time for sure. SAT dollar parity will come, maybe SAT penny parity. Yeah, I think I'll see SAT penny parity in my lifetime. Be awesome. That'd be such a cool thing to see. Can you imagine? It seems like it's like a far thing, but hey, Bitcoin just has to hit $1 million before you have SAT parity with the coin. Sorry, with the penny SAT parity, which means one Satoshi will be worth 1 penny. Right, that's $1 million Bitcoin. Right, it's pretty crazy to think that. Anyway, yeah. So this is the Q&A section of the show. If you guys have any questions, if you guys just want to comment, feel free to put it in the chat. And meanwhile, I'm going to share some funny memes that I liked, that I ran into today. I think this is pretty funny. So let's go there. And again, ask any questions, make any commentary. I just ask that you keep it positive, and it's okay to be toxic on poop coins though. You can be toxic. I'll allow it. All right, here we go. Check out this one. It's pretty funny. It's just, I saw this and I was like, oh my gosh, that's good. Okay, it's the dollar over there on the couch, and the Federal Reserve just shooting it by what they do with the interest rate and how they destroy the dollar, and then immediately looking up and saying, why would Bitcoin do this, right? It's like, gives you the impression of like what they're doing now. They're trying to blame Bitcoin for the collapse of the dollar. And the real reason that there's a collapse of the dollar is the constant money printing and really Fed policy, right? The fact that we have a Fed, even though it's not federal, even though it's not part of the actual government. Mr. Andrews says, have you seen the latest Jack Muller's pod? Are you planning on getting on Zero Fiat? Oh my gosh, that's such a good concept. I love that concept. So, but I'll go look at it. I'll watch it. But I've heard him mention it before, where instead of get off zero Bitcoin, he's saying get to $0. That's a good strategy. I think it's a good strategy, especially if you think about what we've been talking about today, right? We saw this one already. That was a pretty good one. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. So this is the schedule for the Coinbase reward for the miners every halving, right? We are currently at 6.25 Bitcoin every block that's mined, so every 10 minutes, for a total of 900 Bitcoin per day being released. Now, this is not Bitcoin getting created. This is unreleased Bitcoin that's getting released into the system at a rate of 6.25 Bitcoin every 10 minutes. Okay? This is what the halving is, guys. Once the halving happens, that reward goes down to 3.125 every 10 minutes. Therefore, the newly available minted supply of Bitcoin, released supply of Bitcoin, goes to 450 per day. Okay? And then another 4 years from then, in 2028, if you're holding right now and you survive through, you can hold on to your SATs through 2024 and into the 2028 halving, you've already made it. No, you've already made it. Okay? The Coinbase reward goes down to 1.5625. Right? So again, that halves again. So what's that? 225 Bitcoins available daily, all the way until you get to the last halving, which will be in 2136, which is where the Coinbase reward goes down to 1 Satoshi, right? Anyway, it's just we won't be alive to see that, unfortunately, but that's amazing, right? I know that my descendants will be alive and reaping the rewards of what I'm doing today, right? And hopefully yours as well. Have you seen the? Okay, I'm already on the Mahler's plan, credit cards and Bitcoin. There you go. Dang. Let's go. All right. Let's jump into this one. It's a pretty good one. It's a pretty good one here, guys. It's just another thing you have to deal with, right? Maybe a little bit off topic for the topic of today's show, but still, it's just something that really irks me, right? Like 125 years ago, you didn't have to ask permission from the government to do these things. Not even ask permission nowadays. You also have to actually get a permit or a license to do these things. Not just, you have to pay a fee to do these things, right? Collect rainwater, you need a permit for that. To go fishing, you need a fishing license for that. Oh, that one hurts. That one hurts, right? As far as the fishing industry goes, you have to pay more and more each year for your fishing license, and they restrict where you can fish and how many of each fish you can catch more and more each time. So you're paying more in licensing and less access. It's the worst. Okay, you have to get permission or pay extra to own a property, to start a small business, to build a home, to get married, to hunt, to own a weapon, to cut hair. That one sucks, right? That sucks. To cut hair. I cut my kids' hair for free. I mean, I cut my own kids' hair, and I don't need no stinking permit. I permit myself. To sell products, you need a permit, of course. To protest, you need a permit, I guess. A protest permit. And to sell food, it's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, you can do virtually nothing without being extorted by the government and obtaining their permission first. If you still think you're free, you're deluding yourself. You're just a free-range human living on a tax farm. Damn, that's so rough. That's so rough. This tweet got retweeted by let's see, Bitcoin Teddy. I just discovered Bitcoin Teddy, and I just followed him. I've been looking through his feed, and I found this really cool meme. And also, just to cleanse the palate a little bit, guys, let's go to one of his other memes. How to stay calm without hacks, I guess. How to stay calm. I like this one. This is good. This is a good one to end the show on, and to go into the weekend with. Okay. So here's what you do when you feel yourself overthinking things. You can write about it. That's pretty good. When you feel that you're uninspired, you can read or listen to a podcast or watch some videos on something that you feel interested about, right? Maybe inspired you. When you're feeling scared, take a risk. When you're feeling stuck, take a walk. When you're feeling tired, I mean, this one seems obvious, but most people don't do this. When you're feeling tired, go take a nap, go sleep, let your body recover, you know? When you're feeling confused, ask questions, do research. There's nothing wrong with not knowing the answer to something. There is something wrong with not seeking the answer. Okay? Feeling frustrated, move around. Go do something. Feeling burned out, take a day off. You're feeling impatient, review your progress. Go slow and steady. Review your stack. You're stacking every day. You're making gradual progress. As long as you're making progress, you're on the right path. Don't get impatient. Feeling unmotivated? Remember your why. Why do you stack? Okay, why do you stack? I know why I stack. Right? I stack for my family. I stack for my kids. I stack for my descendants in the future. All right. I'll see you guys next week. Hope you guys have a great weekend. And remember, if you ain't stacking, you're slacking.